The Three Little Pigs, retold from the original folk tale. Once upon a time there were three little pigs. They lived with their mother in a little house in the woods. One day they grew so big that their mother could not afford to keep them any more, so she sent them out into the world to start lives of their own. They waved a cheery goodbye to their mother as they set off. "Take care of yourselves and watch out for the big bad wolf," she said. The little pigs took with them a ladder and building tools, because they all planned to build houses for themselves. The first little pig found himself a nice little patch in the woods with flowers and trees all around. "What a lovely spot to build a house," he thought to himself. "I'll settle here." Then he went for a short walk in the woods. While he was out walking, he met a man carrying a huge bundle of straw on his back. "Please can I have some of that straw to build a little house for myself?" asked the first little pig. "Of course you can," said the man, so he gave him a huge bundle of straw. The little pig took the straw back to the woods. Then he drew up plans for his new house. "Tomorrow I'll set to work on my house of straw," he thought to himself. The little pig was up at dawn and he whistled merrily as he worked on his house. By dusk it was finally finished, and the little pig stood back and admired his lovely little house. The little pig slept soundly in his new house, but the next morning he was woken up by the sound of rustling outside. "Who's there?" cried the little pig. The big bad wolf was waiting outside. Little pig, let me come in," he said. "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin I'll not let you in," the little pig told him. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," shouted the wolf. So the wolf huffed and he puffed until the house of straw fell apart. The frightened little pig ran off into the woods. The wolf gave chase, but his huffing and puffing had made him so tired that he couldn't keep up with the nimble little pig. The second little pig had already found himself a pleasant little patch in the woods. One day when he was out walking, he met a man carrying planks of wood. "Please can you let me have some of that wood so that I can build a house for myself?" asked the second little pig. "Of course you can," he said, and he gave him a big bundle of wood. The second little pig drew up plans for his house, then he set to work on it. He carefully nailed in the planks until he felt the house was secure. In a few days the second little pig had finished his house of wood. Then, as he was about to step inside for the first time to eat his supper, he saw the first little pig running towards him. "Help, help! The big bad wolf's after me!" he cried. "Quickly get inside," said the second little pig. So the first little pig followed him into his new home. Once inside, they bolted the door, and both sat trembling inside. A little later, when the two little pigs were eating their supper, they heard a noise outside. They peeped through the window and saw the big bad wolf standing on the doorstep. Little pig, let me come in," cried the wolf. "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin I'll not let you in," said the second pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," shouted the angry wolf. So he huffed and he puffed, and he huffed and he puffed, until his house of wood fell into hundreds of little pieces. The two little pigs ran into the woods, and the wolf was so worn out after all his huffing and puffing that he couldn't catch them. The third little pig had found himself a beautiful patch in the woods. One day he went out gathering berries, and he met a man with a cartload of bricks. "Please can I have some bricks to build a house for myself?" he asked. "Of course," said the man. So he gave him some bricks, and the little pig took them back to build his house. He drew up special plans for his house and spent many days building it. It was hard work carrying all those bricks and putting them in place, but when he'd finished he was very pleased with his house. "Ah, I need a well-earned rest," he said after finishing the house. He was just about to go inside when he saw the first and the second little pig in the distance. They both came running towards him. Help us," they cried. "The big bad wolf is after us, and he wants to eat us all up." "Come inside," he said, so they all dashed inside the house of bricks and locked the door. Just as they expected, the big bad wolf soon appeared on the doorstep of the little pig's house. He licked his lips at the thought of eating the three little pigs for his supper. Little pig, let me come in, he cried. No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin I'll not let you in, the third little pig told him. Then I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in, shouted the angry wolf. So the wolf huffed and he puffed, and he huffed and he puffed, and he huffed and he puffed again, but the house still stood as firm as a rock. What clever little pigs, thought the wolf, but I've got plenty of huff and puff left. The three little pigs sat huddled together inside the house. All that huffing and puffing made it feel as if gusts of wind were blowing through the letterbox. Soon the wolf could huff or puff no more, so he sat down in their garden exhausted. I just don't know how to get the better of these pigs, the wolf thought to himself. The big bad wolf walked off into the woods. He thought for a long time, and then he had an idea. If I could just lure them out of that house, then surely I would be able to catch them, he thought. So at sunset he returned to the house of bricks. He licked his lips when he peeped through the window and saw the three little pigs sitting there. He was sure that they would make a delicious meal. He called out to them, Little pigs, there are some juicy apples in Farmer Smith's fields nearby. Meet me there tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock and we'll pick some. What a lovely idea! We're all very fond of apples, they said. The next morning the pigs were up very early. They left the house of bricks and made their way to the fields where the apple trees were. By 5 o'clock they were already there, an hour earlier than the wolf had told them to arrive. They knew this would give them plenty of time to pick all the apples they wanted before the big bad wolf arrived. When the wolf appeared, the three little pigs were still up in the apple tree. Catch, Mr. Wolf! Shouted one of the little pigs, and he threw a juicy red apple down to the wolf. The apple rolled down the hill, and the wolf chased after it, licking his lips as he ran. While the wolf was chasing the apple, the three little pigs tiptoed away. The wolf didn't notice they'd gone until it was too late. The three little pigs ran all the way back to the house of bricks, and as soon as they were there they dashed inside and bolted the door. Ha ha ha, that silly old wolf won't get the better of us, they cried. When the big bad wolf realized the three little pigs had gone, he ran all the way to the house of bricks. Once he reached the house, he climbed onto the roof and got into the house through the chimney. But the three little pigs had prepared themselves for his visit. They had lit a blazing fire, and as the wolf climbed down the chimney, he singed his tail on the flames. The red-hot flame sent him leaping back up the chimney. The three little pigs watched the wolf as he disappeared out of sight, his tail on fire. He headed straight for the river so he could put out the flames. The three little pigs were so happy that they danced around the house. Hurrah! We'll never see the big bad wolf again, they cried. And they never did. The end.